Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are so glad to have back here to talk about the new film that he's composing. Sender, Gavin Brivik. Gavin, say hello once again.
Thank you for having me. Hello, man. It's so nice to be back, and I'm happy to talk about this project, which is a crazy one.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say it's premiering here at South by this week, and since last we spoke about Wild Indian back in 2021, you have been very busy composing the score for one of the best television shows on TV right now, The Pit. It's crazy, man. You've been doing some amazing work. How to blow up a pipeline, all this stuff you've been doing since 2021. Talk. Let's start with talking about you and all the work you've been putting in.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I know it's kind of crazy to think we talked like basically during the end of COVID, like so much had happened, but I feel very lucky. Like a lot of the people I work with and a lot of the collaborators have just gone off to make incredible projects, and I feel fortunate that they brought me along. And How to Blow Up a Pipeline was my second collab with filmmaker Daniel Goldhaber, who I previously had done Cam with. And then with The Pit, it was funny. Like I kind of auditioned for that, but they had seen How to Blow Up a Pipeline, and they really liked the score for that. So it's cool. Like I will say, like the team behind The Pit is tapped into very cool independent cinema, and one of the cool things that I remember, like in a lot of post production meetings, there would be like John Wells talking about cool films he saw. Terry Murphy, who's the post and one of the producers and post supervisor for the first season. She was tapped into, like, she goes to like a lot of film festivals and sees a lot of cool independent cinema. So yeah, it's just I'm grateful that people are watching these like kind of smaller movies I've been a part of.
Yeah, dude, Cam's also great. I think we talked about it last time. I'm a big fan. Uh,
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's so funny because I talked to Noah like maybe 6 or 8 months before The Pit debuted, and he didn't mention anything about it. So I'm upset about that.
Whoa, that's pretty wild, but that's kind of sick.
Yeah.
I think that it was very, I imagine for him, because I came on much later, that yeah, it was very under wraps. Like, they really were trying to keep it a secret. And also, like, even for me, having had known about it and being brought on, none of us could have expected to hit and to resonate. I think that's always the irony, is you kind of like create these expectations, like, oh, I think this project I'm working on is going to be a big hit. And sometimes it isn't. And then the ones that you're like, I like this, I hope other people do, but I don't really mind if people don't or not, because I like it. And then people are just going crazy for it. So I will say The Pit was something I didn't really like expect, but I feel really grateful for.
The world always needs its medical dramas again. But
So
let's talk about Sender. I mean, this cast is absolutely nuts, man.
I
Rhea
know.
Seehorn,
Jeez.
Jamie Lee Curtis, David Dalmatian, Britt Lower anchoring this whole thing. You even like when Russell approached you to do this, what was the mindset?
Well, it's crazy because Russell had found me through the director of How to Blow Up a Pipeline. So we had like a movie that's going to come out too, the Faces of Death
Yep.
adaptation. And Russell actually went to go see a test screening of that, and just like happened to like the score and then reached out. And then our initial conversation, Russell was at a script stage. So it was much before he shot. And the idea was like he sent me the script, I read it, I loved it so much, and then we wrote music just inspired by the script. So I wrote like an album's worth of music just based off the script. And then when Russell went to go shoot the film, he'd play some of the music on set. There's a lot of songs in this movie that like chat pile songs and Russian circle songs, and then like those songs would be played on set and really like cranked really loud. So I think there was a lot of music in the pre-production process, which was very cool. So Russell, as a first-time filmmaker, approached this like it was his 10th feature, man. Like he just thought so far ahead. So our initial conversations were a lot about scores that we loved, like artists that we love. We both really loved a lot of like John Bryan's music, the collabs with Paul Thomas Anderson and Johnny Greenwood. We loved yeah, I mean, obviously we were really inspired by Fincher's work, and a big conversation was a lot about even like films like Gone Girl or Girl with the Dragon Tattoo scores with from Resner Ross, and so it was a little bit scattered because obviously like we both loved so much, but I think we knew it was going to be an attention kind of driving space because Julia, the main character, her mindset is so manic and completely disoriented. So I think we knew the score had to kind of fit that vibe.
Now, I completely agree. It's funny you mentioned Faces of Death. I shot my podcast last night, and me and my co-host were talking about the excitement we have for Faces of Death coming out, and this is your another third collaboration with Daniel Goldhaber.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's so wild, man. That movie is it's been a long time coming, and I'm so happy that we get to finally share it with everybody.
yeah, she and I have seen like 3 or 4 movies in the last like 3 month window with Charlie XCX in it, and she's really proven her chops as an actress. So we're excited to see her in this,
Yeah,
and we're excited to hear your score in this because I
yeah.
know it's going to
It's
be good, man.
Thank you, man. I think you're gonna be very happy. It's a very interesting like adaptation and a very interesting sonic world. Like the music is pretty absurd in like the best possible way, which you would hope for a Faces of Death movie.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing I can always anticipate from you is that the music's going to fit, but it's going to be a weird fit. It's like it shouldn't work, but it absolutely worked really well because you guys. Because it seems to me like you're outside of your mind a lot, Gavin.
I mean, dude, you're that's a high praise. That's actually like that's exactly what my dream is like I want to create the strangest score that has a very strong identity that is kind of a left field idea because I like those are my favorite scores when I like go to like a film and I'm like, whoa, like I did not expect that kind of music for this. And then like it is working so well. Like that is so exciting. And I feel that way with all the crafts. Like hypothetically, like in Sender, for example, there's like a world where Britt Lower really, if like had you have read the script, Britt's performance is really interesting interpretation and like unconventional in so many ways, and it really is like a similar vibe. Like she did that for the performance, and like that's what excites me about cinema is reinterpretation and the collab that like another artist can bring to a filmmaker's project. So thank you for saying that, by the way. That's nice of you.
No, I think it's funny because you look at a film like a film that didn't get nominated for composer or composition this year, Marty Supreme, the
Oh,
composition of the actual score is so weird, but
I
it's
love that
perfect,
score. Yeah,
right?
I know. Yeah,
It was my favorite score of
me
last year,
too.
and
Nice.
like it's such. But that's why I see a lot of those hints in the stuff that you do every time we see a movie and we see you as a composer. I'm like, I know it's about to get fucking weird.
Oh, thanks. That means a lot, man. Thank you. I didn't
And
honestly, I'm so with you with Marty Supreme. Here's like the sad truth is like a lot of voting for these scores happens within the music academy or within like the music branches. And I do think that like unfortunately a lot of traditional stuff is usually prioritized and sometimes things that are so left field and like off kilter like Marty Supreme sadly get a little overlooked, but I do hope that people's tastes broaden a lot more and scores like that do get more attention. And I do think within the filmmaking community and people like us who love are like true fans of that style and like look for exciting types of scores. We all loved it and appreciated it. And obviously like Daniel Lopatin's like music is so brilliant and we love one o tricks, but not everybody is totally game for that. But I also was with you. I remember watching that movie and being like, this is like a dream movie for me to score like one day. Like that score could have been so in the pocket of like a conventional it could have just been so expected and I like when I'm kind of like I kind of feel the exact same as you. I'm like, whoa, this is not what I expected, but better than what I expected, you know?
Well, what I think is so crazy is like with that movie, and I think this is something that in Cam you kind of utilize a lot too, is it mixed with the actual music supervisor choices so well.
Yes, totally, man. Yes,
You know what I
so
mean?
true. Yeah, I love that. And that's actually really clever observation because that's another thing that can be really like strange because I will tell you not very few movies have a strong collab between this music supervisor and composer. You would think we'd be just like chatting on the phone, like, hey, but like the thing is like it just depends on the movie because some films really rely on the music supervisor to actually find and source songs, while others, the director just knows what they want. And like and then the music supervisor is really in charge of clearing the songs and getting a good price because a lot of them are friends with the artist or the labels, and so they are able to like get a good deal and all that. But I think that when you get a really good filmmaker, like, you know, the Safdie bros or any and I really think Russell actually did this with Sender. I think it's incredible. Like some filmmakers are thinking as a whole. Like they're really they understand that like music is music regardless of song versus score. Like they're supposed to be different, but like there should be some sort of narrative like connection, like why this character would listen to this type of music, or why are we going to crank this type of song in the middle of this scene? Does it work with like everything else artistically? And so like yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Some of those needle drops in Marty were like fuck yeah moments, and I feel that way. Especially it's funny, I've been like kind of going back and rewatching like some old Brian De Palma movies, or even like I rewatched Body Double the other day, and it was just rocking me how good the music was for like a movie in like 1983 or 4 or whatever. So it stands the test of time when you put in the thought for sound, you know. So yeah, long little ramble there, but I
Nah.
completely agree with you. It's really cool when the songs and the score feel like a unified vision rather than like, oh, I just really love this artist regardless of the score, like I'm just going to crank this tune. And I've unfortunately been a part of that, and I've unfortunately, like you, seen many versions of that. So it's cool when we feel the unity, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You did that in Cam, and I think Ross Resner do a great job of doing that as well with their
So
stuff.
true.
And I think I come from a music background. I was in a punk band for like 5 years, so when I
I kind of
listened to when I
briefly remember this. Yeah, yeah, we may have,
yeah.
and that's, dude, you're gonna love, sorry to cut you off there, but like your punk background is gonna really, you would vibe so hard with this producer on Sender, Thomas. He's such a his music taste was really informative of, and like he's the one that shared like Chat Pile and Russian Circles like with the director, and he kind of has like a punk background, and then there's a lot of punk ex punks on this movie Sender, and I feel like you would love them. Sorry to cut you off there, dude.
No, it's great, and I think that when you're watching like movies like this, independent movies that don't give two fucks about production quality, even though the production quality is good, don't give a fuck about appeasing opinions or appeasing taste, and they just want to make the movie they want to make. That's the most punk
Yes,
rock thing you can do. You know?
it's the most punk rock thing you can do, and then it's like the irony is like people end up loving it. Like look at like bands like all those iconic late 70s bands that had that exact mentality, and then like they become massive, but it's like it's because it's authentic and we crave
Hmm.
authenticity. And I feel like Sender's like such a punk rock movie at its core because yeah, like not gonna lie, like I'm sure many people were in Russell's ear telling him, I think the movie should be this way, it should be that way. Like the editor Marco like did the most ungodly crazy edit, and I'm sure he was told million, like everybody was probably projecting some sort of vision they had for the movie because the version that exists, I am like, even in its rough form, it's like it's very fresh and like it hasn't been done before, which can scare a lot of people, especially like, certain types of people get freaked out when they haven't seen something before because it's the unknown, and the unknown is scary. But that's what punk rock is. Like nobody had heard that stuff before. That was like kind of like an antithesis to like the complex metal, hair metal, rock shit that was happening, and Russell's kind of doing that very much so in the genre of like dark comedy thrillers, and then even the cast itself is kind of playing against stereotype, which I love that they kind of did punk rock. Britt's performance is like the most punk rock shit ever, and so yeah, man, I'm so glad you brought up that observation, and what a better person to have like an ex-punker or maybe like a former punker. I don't want to say you're an ex-punker, but to like have been from that world, it means I'm sure everybody from the film would be really grateful that you kind of link those two worlds, you know?
Yeah, and I think that they're not so mutually exclusive. I think that
No, same, yeah.
I think a lot of like when you look at like a lot of different directors, look at like James Gunn, dude. He just puts needle drop after needle drop in his movies, and it's all crap you would not expect. You're like, the hell?
Yeah, I know.
And that's punk rock, but it's in a package of this big homogenized superhero
Sure.
extravaganza. Do you know what I mean?
But
And
I'm sure he gets people that like fight him really hard, and he's like, "No, that song's in the movie," you know?
mhm, and that's what I'm getting at with this. And this is just that on a smaller scale. And then it's your score coming in, and you can hear these little bits of like, yep, it's still in there. It's still in there, and he's still trying to do some punk shit. And that's the part I love about when I'm listening to your scores and when I'm watching movies that you've scored. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, let's go, because I
Dude,
know
if
what I'm gonna get.
there's any soundbite I want from this interview, is that last line. That's sick, man. Really appreciate that, dude.
Nah,
That's definitely my intent, and it means a lot as an artist that like people that like you're perceiving that, and also like that. Yeah, like I'm lucky. I'm very lucky that I'm meeting filmmakers who want that. Like half of the job is luck in the sense of meeting these people that coincide with your authentic voice, like the stuff, you know what I mean, like it's so hard to find people that just see eye to eye with you, because I think out of all the crafts, music's the most abstract. I think it's easy, like to some extent visually you can be like, I like this kind of frame. It's like there's such an exacting universal language for visualization. There's a very, like, I just think sound and music are like abstract, very um, you know, opinionated and different. Like your favorite band, is like the person next to you's least favorite band, but neither you are wrong. It's just that you have opinions. Like there's no right or wrong. So it is really nice when I meet somebody who's just aligned with me, and there's like an instant bond of like, oh, we like the same shit. And I'm sure like so many people can relate, like your best friend, when you're like, oh shit, you love this band, I love this band, like you, this movie, like you just, it is a thing where you just instantly like know like others, like we have a lot in common from this.
that's actually so true because my co-host, you can see her right here on
Yeah,
that
yeah.
side there. She loves Radiohead. I fucking hate Radiohead, bro.
We might differ on that, but fair enough, man.
No, I
And that's
respect
it.
Greenwood, but as a composer, but I fucking hate Radiohead.
Fair enough, and that's the thing, dude. And like nobody's wrong there, and it's like you're still great friends. And actually, I think that's like also the good lesson is like that shouldn't be like a defining thing of a friendship or a relationship, because there was definitely worlds where I think like, yeah, like there's like composers I love. Like I actually have this exact conversation with so many director friends where I'll go see a movie and I'm like, damn, that was rad. Like I thought that was good. And they're like, oh, that score sucked. And I'm like, what? Like, but like that's the thing, is like that is what's hard about the job is it's so there's no like I can't think of the right word, but there is sometimes for certain types of art forms you can like tell like on a technical level this is very good and this is a professional person. And I think that to some extent music can be that way, but not always. But you can be like, technically that was very good, but I don't like it. But sometimes people do perceive music that way. But I've been unfortunately like met a lot of people who aren't able to really process music. Like they aren't really able to appreciate maybe a technical aspect of it. They're just like, oh, that sucks. Like I hate listening to this. And but I don't blame anybody for that. It's kind of part of the art form. And like the nature of talking about music is a lot more difficult, you know?
Completely agree with you. Like, think about this: if you ask somebody to listen to Polyphony, and it's this like super tech gent metal, right?
Yeah,
And then you show them the Misfits, a bunch of five dudes from New Jersey who can't play their goddamn instruments.
right.
And then they're like, I like that thing better than I like the technically sound thing. It's not wrong, but it's clear Polyphony know how to play their instruments and that they're better
Oh, by
musicians.
far.
But somehow, I Want Your Skulls is a better song.
Dude, that's a really good example. I completely agree with you. Like that is actually that's I might steal this parallel between punk and like, math rock,
Technical gent, yeah.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's just,
I love both of them. And like that's the thing is like I grew up like listening to degen stuff and like math rock and like prog metal, but then I also would like dig Misfits and like like listen to some of that like even like just like even like the grunge era music like it's just like three chords and even if you know what I mean, so it's like the complexity isn't a like qualification for good or bad, it definitely means something to a lot of people and it's like it could still be appreciated like, oh, these people spent like hours practicing and I know that they're very good but I may not like love it. I
and
always
then you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, and then you throw on Forming by the Germs, and Darby Crash can't even get through the song. Like,
That yeah, right, and like I see it's funny. I used to feel this way about like Dream Theater. I just never liked them, to be honest. I never got into them ever, but I
me
had a lot
neither.
of friends that did, and I remember watching YouTube videos where it's like them breaking down the song, and I was like, this is like fucking solving like some sort of physics problem. Like it was an unbelievable amount of complexity, but nothing about it like hit for me. Like, and I wanted it to actually, because I had a phase when I was in high school where I was like obsessed with hyper technical shit. And I was like, why don't I like Dream Theater? Like they seem like they would be the shit, but I don't. So it happens, man.
No, you're totally right. You're like, why don't I like this Yngwie Malmsteen song that
I
looks
know
like it
that's a good that's a
looks like a fucking algebra equation? Oh, you mean that's an arpeggio over the B flat? Nope, don't know. Nope, don't understand it.
Literally, dude, so funny. I had such a phase where I tried to get into him too. Like that whole era of that music. But yeah, like that's a good example, man. And honestly, like a great analogy that I will take for myself. So thank you.
By all means, that's what it's there for. Honestly, let me ask you: this thing is debuting, I think today, right?
It premiered late last night.
Last night at South by. If you had somebody in front of you in an elevator, 30-second pitch, what would you tell them? Why would you tell them to pick this film as one of their tickets for South by?
I would say that 30-second pitch is like a film that will make you laugh, cry, and is pure excitement and originality. It's a paranoid thriller that will make you that has the most stacked cast. I mean, think about everybody right now, like Britt Severance, Rhea Pluribus. You got like David who's crushing it with his new Netflix show, but like obviously like, and then Anna and there's just and it's just
Jamie Lee
it's a
Curtis
win-win.
is an Oscar winner.
I mean, Jamie Lee is like literally producing the film. Jamie Lee has championed Russell, and like Russell was Jamie Lee's former assistant. And like so, it's like just to see that and Jamie shows so much love to Russell and to the cast, and she gave this beautiful speech before the or after the movie last night about why independent cinema matters, and I like almost am scared to paraphrase because she so eloquently like phrased it, but there's this thing where it's like how like sometimes people at the very top of their game sometimes try to champion the little person and it's like inauthentic. Like the way that Jamie talked about independent cinema was so authentic and so caring, and like the way that she championed this movie and like helped Russell get all these casts because Russell hired so many first time people. Like this is Marco, the editor's first time feature. This is Gemma, the director of photography's first time feature. Like a lot of people were given a big break here, and like Russell easily could have sourced like A-list people with the cast. So it's like really beautiful that, and he filmed this thing in like 17 days, man. Like it's just it's nuts. So I would say
That's
like
tight.
it's tight and it's like crazy what he created in that time. And also, yeah, it feels like the most pure expression of like people, like all these amazing actors. Definitely, I'm not a business person, but there's no doubt that they did this as a passion project. Like this was like a small budget indie that was done in 17 days, and so everybody came on board because they believed in Russell and the script, and then obviously wanted to make like something like artistic. Like everybody did something outside of their box they've been put in. So we all like wanted to be like, hey, look, we can do other stuff too. Like my score for this is very acoustic in a lot of ways. Like my scores are like almost always like, you How to Build a Pipeline is like Tangerine Dream like inspired. Like I love like Blade Runner and like Vangelis and like all these like I love synth music. Like I love One O Tricks. I love Aphex Twin is my favorite, one of my favorite artists of all time. But then like this movie is like free jazz with like piano, and it was just like a way for me to show that I can write other stuff, you know? It's like it's not it was great. And I feel like everybody was like, hey, look, I can do something that you thought I couldn't do, you know?
Maybe that was the plan on this movie was for everybody to just challenge themselves to do something different, you know?
I really think so. I think that's like the takeaway is like we all were craving that, and Russell gave us a platform to do it. And Jamie also like Jamie like pushed for something strange, and Jamie's performance is so like so unique and so original and like out of the box. So I feel excited for people to see it, you know.
And honestly, 100%, if you're in Austin this week for South by, grab a ticket for this one because you're in for a damn ride. Buckle your seatbelt because it's a crazy ride. I don't know what Russell Goldman's on, what he's doing there, but I want to see him do more because I'm very interested in seeing his perspective on things from now on.
Oh, me too, man. And he will have a very fruitful and interesting career, no doubt.
I have no doubt about that. Now, before I let you go, because we all got stuff to do, right?
Of course.
I can sit here and talk with you all day, man. But where can people find you if they want to harass you online and tell you how much the score rules?
I think Instagram, it's the only place I'm kind of active right now. I can't keep up with more than one, but yeah, you can find me just at Gavin Brivik. Should be I think I'm the only person in the world with my name, so feel free to reach out
Yeah,
and
that's why when
yeah.
I saw the interview come across my desk, I'm like, I know that guy. I was like,
I
I've talked to
remember,
that.
dude. Well,
I'm just
I'm
surprised you
thanks again.
remembered. Honestly,
Dude, I remember. I weirdly I have like a good memory for those types of things. Like I think if anything, I like will forget individual names of people, but I'll always remember like podcast names. I'll remember faces super well. Like last night before I let you go, I was at a party, and the guy who sat next to me on the airplane, I just like saw him, and I was like, dude, you sat next to me on the plane. I don't even know you. And he's like, what? But it's just like I remembered his face. Like I just have a facial thing, but it's funny. But yeah, man, thank you for having me,
oh, man.
and good luck with the rest of your interviews. And I really appreciate your time. Seriously.
Oh, dude, no worries. I'm just excited to tell my co-host tonight that we talked about Faces of Death because I didn't look at who composed it, and now I know it was you. Oh, now I'm even more excited to see this
It's gonna
film,
be.
man.
We'll chat again, man. We'll do a face of the death chat, but yeah, man. It was great chatting with you, and appreciate you seriously.
Pleasure, man. Have a great day, bro.
You too, man. I'll talk to you later again.